Hi Jeff, my name is Mark Keeney, and this is my video to explain why I hate frequency unknown. Rather than have you sit here and look at me for my entire rant, I thought that while I'm doing my speaking I would play a slideshow of an assortment of pictures that I've taken at a variety of Queensryche shows over the years. So here goes. Let me start by saying that I've been a Queensryche fan since the first videos started showing up on MTV's Headbangers Ball back in the late 80s. Like many of the fans, I drifted away after the release of Here and the Now Frontier. Not because of the mindset that without Chris DeGarmo there is no Queensryche, but because I wasn't a fan of the style of music that Queensryche had evolved to. I didn't buy Tribe or Q2K because quite simply by that point I'd lost interest. I didn't attend any Queensryche performances after the Empire Tour in 1991. For all intents and purposes, Queensryche's musical direction had driven me away as a fan. Then, in 2006, I heard about the upcoming release for Operation Mindcrime 2. I bought OM2 on its release date and was front and center against the stage for the live Operation Mindcrime 2 show in Maplewood, Minnesota in 2006. While the CD was a bit underwhelming, the live show was kick-ass. That single performance brought me back into the camp of Queensryche fans. Since then, I've traveled coast to coast and I've seen Queensryche perform live 20-something times. And I've bought multiple copies of every Queensryche release. Take Cover wasn't bad for a cover album. American Soldier was more of an inspirational CD that played on my patriotism and my respect for our servicemen and women and the veterans in this country than it was a musical masterpiece. But Dedicated to Chaos was just lame. For all the promise of a hard rock, metal release, this was at best some form of soft pop rock. The best thing about Dedicated to Chaos was the CD cover artwork, and you forgot the fucking umlaut. Still, throughout those years, there wasn't a single one of those 20-something live shows that I attended that didn't kick my ass. The live Queensryche stage presence always delivered what the fans wanted to see and hear. Sure, you had to put in some new material, but 80 to 90% of the show consisted of the roots of Queensryche that brought us all into the fold as fans in the first place. Which brings me to why I hate Frequency Unknown. Though I never have been a fan of the Geoff Tate solo material, and I've never had any interest in attending a Geoff Tate solo show, I can appreciate that the music that was released on the first solo CD was probably good for the style that it represented, and the production quality of the CD was certainly adequate. I didn't buy or listen to Kings and Thieves, simply because I'm not interested in that style of music anymore, and I just won't support any Geoff Tate solo release. Frequency Unknown, on the other hand, is an abomination. I appreciate and respect the Geoff Tate fans that enjoy this continuation of the style of music that drove away the Queensryche fan base, all except for the long-term diehards over the past 2 decades. But other than the core Geoff Tate fans, the entire music industry has called this CD out for what it is, a hastily recorded piece of crap with weak writing, poor production, and a revolving door of guest musicians. Have you read the product description on the Laser CD website that's selling your CD? It says, "I'm not sure why anyone would want to actually own this album, but I guess if you are an uber Tate fan, you have to have it. Fanatics only, please." And Cleopatra Records? Seriously? Their next biggest name in the catalog is William Shatner. Even as low rent as Cleopatra is, even they recognize that this project is a bust, and they're doing what they can to save a bit of their investment by bringing in someone new to remix the CD and giving away fixed copies. Now they're trying to bank on the negative reaction by the fans in the music industry with this ridiculous video contest. And the traveling Geoff Tate roadshow is a laughingstock. It's the who's who of wayward metal has-beens trying to pick up gigs between other projects. Those that didn't bail out before ever taking the stage are saying sayonara as soon as anything else comes along. Well, all except for Freddie the Freeloader, Kelly Oven Mitts Gray, who'll be butchering the Jet City Woman solo for as long as you keep him in your posse. Jeff, your merch girl is Sister Mary. What the fuck? Jeff, I've been fortunate enough to meet you a number of times. Here's a picture of us from my first meet and greet back in 2008. Remember how you used to humor us fans and care whether we were having fun? Do you remember F.U. Harley? What happened to that guy? At some point, he turned into this. He let Geoff Tate, the voice of Queensryche, drive that other guy away. He's gone. His voice has deteriorated, And I'm not talking about not being able to hit the high notes. That's been coming for years. Hell, lots of seasoned vocalists use the Geoff Tate maneuver. You know, the one where you hold the microphone out when it's time to hit a high note. No, Geoff, it's gotten to the point that you can't hold pitch, even with everything tuned down. I'm talking about the Geoff Tate warble. I said earlier that I've never been disappointed by a live Queensryche show. Well, that all changed in May of 2012 when I watched the M3 Festival live on cable. Shortly after that, I watched the debacle that was Rocklahoma. Here's a small bit of silent lucidity from Rocklahoma that shows just how far you've let your greatest asset, your once magnificent voice, deteriorate.
Hush now, don't you cry. Wipe away the teardrop from your eye. You're lying safe in bed. It was all a bad dream spinning in your head. Your mind tricked you to feel the pain of someone close to you leaving the game of life. So here it is, another chance. Wide awake, you face the day your dream is over. Or has it just begun?
Sounds a bit more like Sean Connery singing to me. Then, of course, there's this famous little bit of drama here.
My God, this is Rocklahoma, huh? I think we played here 2 years ago. I think it maybe was a different crowd. You guys suck.
Of course, we didn't know at the time what shred of chemistry existed within Queensryche prior to 2012 was destroyed by the events that took place in Brazil. And now you've graduated from telling the audience that you guys suck to yelling, "Goodbye, pussies," at the former fans that are walking out on your shows because, well, the show sucks.
Is anybody still drinking, or is it just me? Let's raise our glasses. Let's toast all those fucking pussies who went home early. Goodbye, pussies!
So the main reason that I hate Frequency Unknown is because of the damage that it's doing, that you are doing, to the Queensryche name, the Queensryche brand. I firmly believe that this is an intentional kamikaze strategy to do as much damage as you can to Queensryche before you lose the legal rights to the name in November. Otherwise, there's simply no viable business excuse for what you've been doing. I remember a rant that you did in Portland, Oregon in 2008 about accepting responsibility. Here it is right here.
Hands out of nowhere. Hands out of nowhere. I mean, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? I mean, I kind of feel two ways about that. On one hand, you could live your life completely on the edge of disaster at all times, you know? And at the last possible second, at the last moment, hands out of nowhere will come down and save your sorry ass. And I kind of like that idea in some ways. On the other hand, I don't know. It sort of promotes irresponsibility in a sense, doesn't it? I mean, I see a lot of people walking around with big signs on their foreheads and wearing baseball caps that say, "I take no responsibility for my pathetic existence." You see that all around me? Yeah. I think it's very rare nowadays for someone to tell the truth, you know? What's that old saying? Tell the truth even if it leads to your own death. How many of us could do that?
Well, Geoff, you need to accept responsibility for the decline of Queensryche over the past 2 decades. As a person whose job requires hiring and firing duties, I can tell you that no one gets fired for no good reason, and no one that is ever fired seems to think that they did anything wrong. Your culpability is without question. Every account but your own, and that of your lapdog, Kelly Sausage Fingers Gray, tells of a controlling, bipolar, over-drinking Geoff Tate. Then there's the fact that your personal assistant and of many years and your former son-in-law both chose to part ways with you because of your self-destructive nature. When I saw Todd, Whip, Scott, Eddie, and Parker perform in January this year, the second time that I've seen them play live, I got my first ever photo of me with the full band. When I thought about this, it dawned on me that the reason that all my photos from past opportunities to meet with Queensryche were on one-on-one basis is because back then there was no cohesiveness in the band. The only thing that you guys did well together was perform, and then eventually you destroyed that as well. Now the chemistry and the energy is back. If you were the heart of Queensryche, then Queensryche was suffering from heart disease, and now has fully recovered thanks to a much-needed heart transplant. Geoff, though your ego won't allow you to admit it, the handwriting is on the wall. Frequency Unknown has sold less than 8,000 copies. That's fewer than Dedicated to Chaos, for God's sake. The bootleg recording of the Todd La Torre debut performance in Royalton, Minnesota in July of 2012 has more circulation than your solo record, Kings and Thieves. If you want to continue to produce glorified lounge music, please stop chiseling away at the Queensryche legacy and release what you want to release as a Geoff Tate solo project. Frequency Unknown could have been a decent soft rock CD if you had taken the time to produce it properly. That, and maybe taken care of what's left of your voice. Your dozens of fans will still come to the shows and will still buy your material, if you can find a label to produce it. Hell, they might even pick up a few of those cassettes that you're so fond of. Geoff, I just want to finish up by saying that I wish you no ill will. I just want to see Queensryche flourish as a progressive metal band, one that caters to its fans and not to its members' misguided ego. I want to wish you the best of your luck in your ongoing career as a wedding singer. Thank you.